Oh, Ricky, how are you doing? Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lucian Safety presiding. All persons having business before this court, come nigh, and you shall be heard. God save the United States of America and this honorable court.
Thank you, Lair. Greetings, family, friends, colleagues, and all the former colleagues of Judge Hernandez. I know she's got the house packed with them. I can see a whole lot of REG represented in here. I imagine the courthouse down the street's represented in here. And I also hear there's a lot of Jersey in the house today, too. Woohoo! Welcome to the investiture of the Honorable Christine Hernandez as Circuit Court Judge of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida. Please remain standing as we ask a very special guest to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Judge Hernandez's daughter, Charlotte Olivia Baldwin, age 11. With an assist from her two cousins.
I pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. That deserves a clap. She's a soccer star too, Karen. Yeah. See, she didn't get enough on her bio. Soccer star also. Okay. Please continue to remain standing as we welcome back to courtroom 6-1 Father Manny Alvarez, the judge's pastor from St. Teresa Catholic School and the Church of Little Flower in Coral Gables.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let us pray. Heavenly God, in sacred scriptures we read of how you cared for your people. In the book of Deuteronomy we hear, in all the communities which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall appoint judges and officials throughout your tribes to administer true justice for the people. You must not distort justice. You shall not show partiality. Justice alone you shall pursue. Lord, you are indeed a God of justice who blesses those who uphold and work for justice. On this day we ask you to bless Judge Hernandez as she begins this most solemn charge that she has been entrusted to her. Send the gifts of the Holy Spirit upon her. Grant her divine wisdom, O Lord, that she may judge wisely and rightly as she upholds the laws of this land. Assist her in giving justice to those who have been wronged, and may she always honor you by acting justly to those who come before her. We ask you to bless her family as they entrust her to you, our Lord. We also beseech thee to send your blessing upon all the judges of this honorable court and all who assist them in their pursuit of justice. Grant all of them wisdom, O God, as we all strive to be good and faithful citizens of a just and merciful nation. We make this prayer in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. You can sit down. On this very special day, we have a lot of special guests, and there's a packed house full of them today. So please be patient as I can welcome everyone from our neighbors down the street, the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida. We have Judge Ellen D'Angelo. We have Judge Beth Bloom, an alum of our court. Judge Rodney Smith, also an alum of our court. And the fairly newly minted U.S. Magistrate Judge Marty Fulgera Elfenbein. You guys are being so good, not clapping. I'm surprised. I've been waiting. Give him some claps. And from the Third District Court of Appeals, we also have an alum of our court, Judge Monica Gordo. And we have some of our newly elected judges. I know I saw soon-to-be Judge Chris Benjamin. And I believe we have Michelle Urbistando. And is Marie Mato here? No? Yeah. Oh, Eloisa Correa is here? Okay. They're all here taking notes because their day up here will be soon. From the Coral Gables Bar Association, we have the president and former colleague also of Judge Hernandez. I know this because we have all done a lot of good time at the REG building. Alberto Papo Monrara. From the Cuban American Bar Association, we have President Javi Soto. From the Miami-Dade Bar Association, we have the President, Sharice Morgan. And from the Miami-Dade Trial Lawyers, we have Dax Bayo. I guess I should add that he's also former COPPA president. I'm going to start doing that, and there's going to be a whole bunch of those. We have Eddie Holliday, president of the League of Prosecutors. Mike Davis, who's president-elect of the Wilkie D. Ferguson Jr. Bar Association. From the 11th Judicial Circuit Nominating Commission, we have Bob Pardo. Where's Bob? I'm going to guess he's also your former opposing counsel on some cases, if I had to guess. And your regional counsel. Now? Now. Yeah, see? We keep it all in the family. Yeah. I see also Robert Fernandez from the 11th Judicial Circuit Nominating Commission. And Jordan Richardson, also from the 11th Judicial Circuit Nominating Commission. From the 3rd DCA Judicial Circuit Nominating Commission, we have Steve Demonovich. I'm going to add, he's also a former colleague of Judge Hernandez, and he happened to be my C prosecutor, and I think my B prosecutor, too, at some point. It's all close. From the Spanish American League Against Discrimination, we have Juan Arce. And I know everyone's, I'm going to look at my phone and see who's blowing the phone up, but I'm going to remember it today because I didn't see him last time, but Mark LaPointe is here. the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida and Judge Hernandez's former employer. We also have with us, of course, our justice partners, our court family. On behalf of Public Defender Carlos Martinez, we have Teresa Enriquez. Someone who needs no introduction, but our state attorney, Catherine Fernandez-Rundle. She's the former boss of probably 75% of the people in this room, and probably a good 50% of the bench. And on behalf of Regional Counsel, we have Annette Gomez. And our re-elected, retained Clerk of Courts, Juan Fernandez-Barquin. And just a note about our clerk, poor guy, on Wednesday, guess who was calling him and bugging him because we had some issues that had to be worked out. So he went from a night of celebrating to a night with this. So already on the job, kicking it, you know, we're doing great work, and I'm so honored to be continuing to work with you. Finally, supporting our day-to-day operations with their expertise and wisdom, the judiciary is nothing without them. Representing our administrative office of the courts, we have Trial Court Administrator Deirdre Dunham. Our General Counsel, Pat Gladson. Big thanks to our AV team and our IT team who make this day possible virtually as well as in person. And of course, Eunice Sigler, our Public Information Officer, Matt Bodfield, her deputy, and my staff, Ricardo Ayala and Larry Chester, who are the cruise directors and wedding coordinators, and they make all things possible. So thank you to all of them. And someone who just snuck in, Stedman Stahl, president of the Miami Police Benevolent Association. If I forgot anyone, I'm sure my colleagues are blowing up my phone right now, and I promise I will announce you shortly. But while we're doing that, on behalf of the Florida Bar, I'd like to welcome Board of Governors member, former president of CABA, managing partner of Kozak, Tropin, and Throckmorton, and just a great friend of the courts, Georgie Piedra.
Chief Judge Safey, may it please the court. Members of the judiciary, family, friends, colleagues, it is a great day to be a Florida lawyer. My name is George Piedra. Some call me Georgie, or most. I'm a member of the Florida Bar Board of Governors representing our 11th Judicial Circuit proudly. And it is my true honor and pleasure to welcome Judge Hernandez to the judiciary on behalf of the Florida Bar. This is extra special for me because Judge Hernandez is a friend, and it also means I have a few personal words and maybe stories. Oh, great. You wish you had asked Roland now? Yeah. I know Judge Hernandez is going to be a great judge because she's tough. She's really tough. As a federal prosecutor, she dealt with hardened criminals and guys named Little Jit and Pee Wee. And she was never scared or intimidated. She was even tough on her team, very tough on her team. As a state attorney, she was so tough on her team that we haven't got there yet. She was so tough on her team that one of the homicide cops that she worked with could only think of one way of getting out of her division, and that was to ask her on a date. And it's that guy right there. It also proves she has integrity because she immediately, after saying yes, recused herself from all the cases that he was working. She's also an intellectual. She's smart and dedicated and educated in the law. When she came to my house, she saw a book on a table, that book that Scalia wrote that you guys all read. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, she said she had read it 4 times. I was impressed. I only bought it, he's not here, thank God. I only bought it because I heard Rabull liked it. And since I can never win a hearing with him, I thought, I still haven't read it or won a hearing. Finally, there's the Judge Hernandez that you guys don't know, and that is crazy soccer mom, Judge Hernandez. She is known to say, "I'm skinny, but I'm scrappy and from New Jersey," when she's getting ready to attack the other team moms. I've heard her yell to beautiful little Charlotte, "Kill her! Knock her down! Push her!" It's so bad that poor Juan wears headphones and stands on the other sideline. Of course, Diane didn't warn me about this, so the first time I was like, "Hey, cool," and then, as this is happening, it's like... But seriously, I am so happy and proud because I know Judge Hernandez has all the qualities to be a great judge. Most importantly, she's just a great person. So with that, on behalf of the 116,000 members of the Florida Bar, congratulations.
We also have here with us today former U.S. Attorney Tony Gonzalez. And representing the American Board of Trial Attorneys, we have Brandon Wass. And now for remarks on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar Association, we have the president of the organization and another distinguished attorney. Please welcome Sharice Morgan.
Chief Justice Safey, Christine, Clerk of the Court, let me take a moment of personal privilege and thank the Clerk of Court, congratulate him on his re-election. He is a dear friend of the bar. Judiciary, family, friends, colleagues, peers, everyone, thank you so much for being here today. Again, my name is Sharice Morgan. I'm president of the Miami-Dade Bar. So I'm asked to speak here in my official capacity as president of the bar, but I am delighted to be here and would have fought off anyone who opposed the attempt because I have a special meet cute with Christine that I love to tell to anyone that'll listen. I got to meet Christine in a way that very few other people in the world can ever say that they have, as a juror. So in July of 2017, I performed my civic duty, responded to jury duty down at REG, sat in the bullpen, was corralled for several hours with cold tea, not good coffee, before being assigned to the courtroom of a judge I had yet to meet at that time in 2017, the Honorable De La O. And I'm incredibly grateful that De La O is here today because we too get to laugh about this story so many years later. I sat in his courtroom for about an hour. Luckily for me, my last name starts with an M, and there are multiple other attorneys who just happened to have been called for jury duty that day. I think it was about 6 or 7. Yet somehow, those 6 or 7 attorneys had scheduling conflicts for which they could not sit for jury duty. So by the time we made it down to M, the jury panel was pretty scant. And as a result, I ended up sitting on a week-long murder trial and serving as foreman. Again, this was July of 2017. The first person that I got to meet at the jury after meeting Judge De La O was a scrappy's a good word, young prosecutor by the name of Christine Hernandez. Again, since then, we've laughed about it, we've talked about it, and I'm not permitted to share the inner workings of the jury's mind, but the phrase tough came up a lot of times in the jury room. I'm honored to be here on behalf of the 20,000 attorneys from Miami-Dade County and to welcome you to the judiciary, Christine. I know that you'll do well. I have no doubt after having seen you on that week-long murder trial that you will be an excellent and effective judge for Miami-Dade County. So on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar, I'm happy to announce and provide our Bible that we provide to each of the new judges. Inside is a sticker from the Miami-Dade County. I'm in my signature pink so that you can remember to think of us. Thank you.
Judge Hernandez, the moment you've been waiting for. You can sit, because there's a lot here. This is where we present you with, although this isn't labeled, guys. Who delivered this in the Starbucks bag? Okay. I can't read that because my eyes are, oh, from Mike Davis, okay. From the Wilkie Ferguson Jr. Bar Association. I don't know how you've fended off the order of the court for all these months without it, but here you go, your gavel. Oh, here it is. Here it is, right there. Okay. From the Spanish American League of Against Discrimination, The desk plate. I know. Have you been waiting for this? I know. You see these for years when you're a lawyer, and then one day you get one yourself. From the Conference of Circuit Court Judges, from the League of Prosecutors to adorn your walls. This is nice. Look at that. From Aboda, and oh my God, who's this from? I thought I opened everything. You're getting last minute swag, so I have to stay up here and. Oh, another gavel. She's going to be double fisted on the bench, folks. This one I'm going to. Is this from Trial Lawyers? Who gave us this one? This is like when you get the wedding gifts and you're like, who's this from? Miami-Dade Trial Lawyers, that's what I thought. Okay, so Miami-Dade Trial Lawyers. Thank you all. And we will gather this up for you in a little bit. And now for personal remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends. Okay. Javi? You usually text me and tell me you're going to do this, but. And from the Cuban American Bar Association.
Good afternoon, Chief Judge Safey, friends, families, judges, honored guests, and especially Judge Christine Hernandez. I'm honored that she has asked me here to say a few words on behalf of the Cuban American Bar Association. For 50 years, CABA has and continues to grow its membership, for which welcomes persons of all countries to fulfill its mission, serve the legal community, and support the students that will one day fill our shoes. But from the start, I only recently got to know Judge Hernandez over lunch. But from the start, it's as if I've known her for years. I've come to learn that we have similar backgrounds and we have so many friends in common. Both Judge Hernandez are not native Miamians. Judge Hernandez, as I'm sure you're gonna hear very soon, grew up in New Jersey. She's very proud of that. And I grew up in Orlando in Germany. We both moved to Miami in 2002 at the same time to go to law school, yet different law schools. We both experienced coming to Miami where many had no idea that Cubans lived elsewhere than in the United States, other than right here in Miami. Through law school and her first job at the State Attorney's Office and the U.S. Attorney's Office, we found that we had many mutual friends, so many that I still can't believe we had not previously met in all these years. We shared many of our stories of our mutual friends, and it was like we were living the same lives, just in a parallel universe. We met our respective spouses while at work. She also loves to watch the same shows as my wife, which I'm not going to mention, but I understand that her husband shares my opinions about those shows as well. Despite her regularly attending many CABA events, we had never formally met. And speaking to some of our mutual friends, they could only say good things about her. Everything from an incredible trial attorney to a respected and fair prosecutor to a wonderful mother who prioritizes her family. Our mutual friends, one of our mutual friends, CABA past president Dax Bello, simply told me, all you need to know is she's phenomenal, she has my thumbs up, enough said. The wonderful things told to me of Judge Hernandez are endless, as are our mutual connections. For someone I have just begun to know, it is I've known her forever. But this is also the story of CABA, finding unity in our shared histories, and she undoubtedly exemplifies its mission and purpose. Lastly, it's only right that we are here celebrating and honoring Judge Hernandez today, as she has devoted her career to public service as an assistant U.S. attorney, assistant state attorney, and now as judge. As on Monday, we will be celebrating and honoring our military veterans who have also likewise given of themselves to protect the freedoms that we have, and that for many across the world, including those in Cuba, can only dream of. We thank them and we thank you. So on behalf of the Cuban American Bar Association, I would like to present Judge Hernandez with this plaque as a thank you for her continued public service and to congratulate her as becoming the Circuit Court Judge in our 11th Judicial Circuit. God bless America.
And there's more. From the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, Miami chapter, you've got another plaque. Look at your walls, I'm sure, waiting for all this stuff. There you go. Now, on behalf of the judge's family and friends, please welcome her good friend and former colleague at the state attorney's office, currently the deputy chief of staff for Governor DeSantis, Anastasio, we always called him Stasi, Kamoutsis.
Humility. I cannot think of a better adjective to describe Christine. And according to Scripture, it's a pretty good characteristic to exemplify. In the book of Psalms, it says, "The Lord lifts up the humble and adorns them with salvation." In the book of Proverbs, it says, "When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom." And in the book of James, we're called to humble ourselves before the Lord, knowing that it is He that exalts the humble. I remember when I first met Christine at the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, I was a little old misdemeanor prosecutor who thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. It was clear I could have used a lesson in humility. Thankfully, Christine didn't write me off because I was prideful and immature. She saw an opportunity to teach me and invested in me by giving me multiple opportunities to try cases either with her or in her courtroom. Today, I'll only talk about 2 of those cases. The first was when she allowed me to try a felony case with her B-level prosecutor when I was still in county court. At the time, it was a huge deal to me as a county court prosecutor, but in hindsight, I realized it was a dog of a case and a lesson in humility that Christine was letting me learn. In this case, the defendant was a cross-dresser who robbed Walmart gift cards from his friend at gunpoint. No firearm was recovered, the gift cards were not found in the defendant's possession, and there was no admission of guilt. Yet, we moved forward on the case because the victim was able to identify the defendant, we had receipts the victim had purchased gift cards, and the victim did in fact sustain injuries from the firearm during the robbery. I remember not being able to sleep the night before closing arguments because I was so nervous, thinking that if I could prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt, I would be praised by my colleagues and considered one of the greatest prosecutors in Miami-Dade County. Well, within 5 minutes of closing arguments, the jury rendered a verdict, and with just 2 words, "not guilty," I was quickly humbled again. The second case I will highlight was a homicide, where the defendant was charged as the principal to a murder because he was the getaway driver. And this case I did try with Christine. I remember prepping all Christmas break, combing through the depositions, reviewing every piece of evidence, meeting with the victim's family, praying with the victim's family, praying with each other, giving the case everything we had. Sadly, the jury did not convict in that case either, and I remember going with Christine to meet with the victim's family, where we both tearfully consoled them, one of the most humbling moments in my career. Christine had many successes as a prosecutor, but when I speak to her about former cases, she never touts her victories. What she does mention is this case. Why? Because Christine was the type of prosecutor that approached her job with humility, understanding that her role was to successfully fight for the victims of Miami-Dade County. And to this day, I know that that loss still weighs on her heart. It was very impactful early on in my career to be mentored by Christine and learn that prosecution was not about winning, but it was about bringing justice. And not only did it impact my professional career, but it was a reminder of my faith, where God, in his perfect love for me as a sinner, sent his only son, who was without blemish, to die on a cross for my sins, the ultimate example of humility. For years, I'd been encouraging Christine to apply for a judicial appointment, and she often responded, thinking she didn't think she was ready yet. Perhaps a lesson other applicants could learn. I'll let that one sit in. Think about it. This is an attorney with over 15 years of homicide experience, as well as federal prosecution experience, saying she didn't think she had enough experience to be a judge. And even at the point of applying to be a judge, Christine was hesitant to put in for circuit. But I'm sure glad she did, and I'm glad the governor immediately saw in Christine what we have known all along. Christine is fearfully and wonderfully made. Now, that doesn't mean she's perfect, because after all, she is a Miami Hurricanes fan. Sorry, I'm in Tallahassee, so even though we're having a rough year, probably shouldn't talk smack this year. But in all seriousness, it's no coincidence how her life experiences, as well as the way God made her, has influenced her perspective on life and prepared her to serve in the judiciary. For instance, as a Cuban American, she knows all too well the perils of communism and government overreach. As a devout Catholic, she understands that without her faith, she is nothing. As the wife of a homicide detective, she appreciates the difficulties of law enforcement and what they face on a daily basis. As a mother, she prioritizes protecting the innocence of her child. And as a former prosecutor, she recognizes the importance of a judge's role to rule fairly and impartially, ensuring truth is sought in courtrooms. Christine worked hard to get to this stage in her career, but one must also acknowledge that her ascent to the bench certainly aligns with Scripture's description of how the Lord elevates the humble. And I will end with this in Matthew chapter 23, verse 12. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Christine, congrats again. Thank you, and God bless.
Also from the 11th Judicial Circuit Judicial Nominating Commission, we have Pedro Allende. And Alex Saiz, who's the president-elect for Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. And now for further remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends, we have our very own Judge Gina Benavides, former law school classmate, colleague, friend, and I'm direct quote from her worksheet, fellow pickleball player. Gina Benavides.
Stassi, you stole a lot of my stuff. Chief Judge Safey, Judge Hernandez, I'm going to say that again, Judge Hernandez, esteemed colleagues, family, and friends, I have been waiting for this day for a very long time. For years, I've been asking Christine to join us, so I want to take a moment and recognize just what an awesome day this is, not just for me, selfishly, but for our bench and for our circuit and for the people of Miami-Dade County. It is with profound honor that I stand before you today as we celebrate this special occasion, the investiture of Christine Hernandez, or should I say, her second quinces. You see, I can see the similarities. A quinces is a celebration of a significant milestone. It's a large gathering of family and friends. We get to hear remarks of who she is. Now, rather than a poofy, paradera kind of dress, which, by the way, your mom tells me that you did wear on your 15s, you get to wear a robe. And instead of a tiara, which Judge Hernandez also wore, can't wait to see some pictures, you get a gavel, or in this case, two. So yes, today is a momentous day, not only for Christine, but for all of us who have had the privilege of knowing her, working with her, and witnessing her incredible journey. If you're wondering how Judge Hernandez prepared for this occasion, she hired a company to steam clean all her furniture and even banned Juan, Charlotte, and the dog from sitting on this furniture until after her mother's arrival to her home. Maria, I'm not sure you're ever welcome to my apartment. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Christine in her 40s. Proof that she's long past the era of plastic covers on the sofa until she turns 50. Now, an investiture is the official ceremony of that judge's swearing in and celebrating that judge's remarkable professional journey and contributions to the legal community. With Judge Hernandez, a day wouldn't be sufficient to adequately describe her merits, let alone the 5 minutes that I have been granted. But I will do my best. She earned her degree from the best law school ever, Stassi, the University of Miami. There, she distinguished herself as a member of the Charles Pappy Moot Court Board and the mock trial team. As we've heard, Christine's career is one of distinction. She began her legal journey as a state prosecutor before transitioning into private practice, handling complex family law cases. Yet, as with so many of us who are drawn to public service, Christine's heart led her back to the state attorney's office, much to the dismay of her paycheck. From there, she went on to become a federal prosecutor, a role in which she excelled. Throughout her career, and to try to put this in numbers, She has tried over 90 jury trials, 30 of those being murder cases. But for me, one of the most joys of this investiture is the opportunity to share a few personal insights into the person that we know and admire as Christine. Christine and I first met 22 years ago on the very first day of our law school orientation. I was carefully searching for a seat that would allow me to remain relatively hidden, somewhere between the back of the room and the front row. Then, out of nowhere, this confident young woman sat next to me and we introduced ourselves. Now I see her and she was wearing pearl earrings, pearl necklace, and had that unmistakable Miami vibe. Naturally, my first question was, did you go to Lourdes? To which she replied, what is that? Puzzled, I say, it's a high school. She started to laugh and says, I'm from Jersey. To which I respond, oh man, you're so Miami and you don't even know it. It wasn't long before then that I affectionately started calling her Miami throughout law school. And as Jason Redding, our colleague, would say, Miami is her spirit animal. Now, Christine's competitive nature, Georgie, this is what happens. You know, you call it one thing, I say competitive nature. It's called diplomacy. Was evident even in those early days. In her high school, she was a valedictorian and a fierce tennis player. Now, Christine told me or led me to believe that you played tennis in college.
I did, the first year.
Your mom says you did not.
The club. Fake news.
Although I would add that she did win the Dean's Cup in tennis in law school. But today, she still brings that competitive energy to the table. I was going to say now it's in the form of pickleball, but apparently it's on the soccer field of her daughter's games. But she is a fierce pickleball player. After only one game, and I want to stress this, it was only one game, and Judge Rita Corvo is a witness. Christine shows up wearing what can only describe as a professional tennis outfit and premier paddles. After a game or two, we then begin to get shamed by some guy wearing a t-shirt saying Mr. Right of our subpar wiffle balls. After the game is over, very upset about this shaming of our wiffle balls, she goes and purchases the most premier outdoor wiffle balls that exist. And this is only for what I can describe as supposed to be Judge Corvo wants to burn 500 calories. and yet here we are in now trying to put together a pickleball tournament. But Christine's drive doesn't end with sports. It extends to her work as a trial attorney. Her trial partners quickly learned that if you wanted Christine on your team, you'd better be prepared for her to take charge, especially during rebuttal closing arguments. She was known by her trial partners for delivering a powerful rebuttal, returning to her seat and saying, I have no idea what I just said. I totally blanked out. It's like a scene from Old School where Will Ferrell kind of gives this great answer to some question, except he was completely wrong, but it sounded good. That's kind of how it goes with Christine, except she's always right. But so much so that her worthy adversary, Bonnie Riley, who's here today, at the time, it was at the state attorney's office, and one of the things that, you engage in battle every day, they did 5 trials in 1 week, back to back. And after undergoing that kind of experience, you do what any worthy adversary does. You go to private practice and ask the other one, hey, do you want to join me? And that, to me, is so telling. It's telling because if your opposing counsel is the first one to acknowledge your competency and your professionalism, that says everything about your character. So I share that with you, Christine, but I'll share with you, Bonnie, that Christine feels the exact same way about you. Now, Christine is also well known for her affinity for reality TV. Whether it's Real Housewives, 90 Day Fiancé, or any other shows that capture our attention, Christine is the go-to expert. So if you want to ever get the scoop or the tea, she's the girl to go. But of course, we cannot talk about Christine without recognizing the most important people in her life, her family. She's an exceptional wife, twin sister, and mother. Charlotte, you are your mother's greatest sense of joy. Even when she must face the heat of your soccer matches, and what I can only call, words of encouragement. The happiest place for her, aside from inside a courtroom, is anytime she gets to spend time with you. So while you're listening to all these great things about your mother, you're her greatest pride and joy. Remember this day, because your mom is a very special person. Maria, Christine's mom, thank you for raising such an incredible daughter. I know you view today as a celebration of the fruits of your labor. And Christine, for us, and I want to share this with Maria, because I spoke to Maria for quite some time leading up to this investiture, and I couldn't get 2 words out of her without her crying. You mentioned that today you felt like it was your investiture, and that you were celebrating this. But the fruits of your labor, your blessings, is really a blessing for us. So thank you. To Stasi's words, you raised them right. Christine, your mother wants you to know that you mean everything to her and that she knew that this day would come. And in other words, to quote her, esa niña es tan especial, which means my daughter is so special. Now, she also wanted me to add that perhaps her passion and her love for the law stems from her grandfather, who was a lawyer. And like most of us that have this background where our parents and grandparents had to flee Cuba to avoid a communist and totalitarian regime, you grow up in a house where they teach you about the rule of law, an understanding of physics, and a fundamental love for your country. And that's very part of the framework of who Christine is. For members of the legal community, rest assured that Christine recognizes the weight and responsibility of upholding the rule of law, that judges wield no power or seek desired outcomes. Rather, judges exercise their judgment with dignity and respect for all who come before us. Her competence and unwavering integrity will serve our circuit well. Christine, as you face the pressures and weight of this position, I would like to offer you some words of advice. Words that have guided me and many others who have taken on such solemn responsibility. While I shared a poem by Mother Teresa at Judge Corville's investiture, I won't do that today, but I will leave you with her words of wisdom. Speak as little as possible about yourself. Accept small irritations with good humor. Be courteous even when provoked. Do not seek to be admired or loved. Choose always the more difficult task, for humility is the mother of all virtues. Christine, these words, if embraced, will help you remain grounded, principled, and measured as you serve this important role. Now, for 8 years, you served on the 11th Judicial Circuit's nominating committee and were instrumental in selecting some of the outstanding judicial talent. I kindly ask any judge who was nominated during the period of 2011 and 2019 to please rise. Christine played a pivotal role in shaping our judiciary. On behalf of all of us, thank you for your trust and confidence in us. We share the same confidence in you. For so long, you have risen for us, but today it is with immense joy and pride that we rise for you. Congratulations, my friend.
You picked some good ones, Judge Hernandez. She just whispered to me, God, they're making me sound like such a psycho on the soccer field. And now for the oath of office and robing, I would like to ask Chief Judge Emeritus Bertie Lesotho. We also call her the Empress around here, as well as Judge Ariana Fajardo-Orshan to the podium for the oath. Welcome back up, Charlotte. And please bring with you, not yet, please bring with you Juan Segovia, the judge's husband, and parents, proud parents, Maria and Rolando Hernandez. You go down there.
we're going to ask. Chief Judge Safey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
May I say a few words? I promise it'll be 40 seconds. I've timed it.
Everyone knows I have no choice but to say yes.
I like that. All right. So, congratulations on this very special day. We've all been waiting a very long time for it. First, I have to say, welcome to the New Jersey clan. Everybody, I've been hearing about all the shopping and wonderful gifts her mother gives to her for years. I want to go shopping with you, Maria. She loves you so much, and there is no doubt that her being here has so much to do with both of you, and of course, Charlotte and Juan. Christine, you've always been an incredible and feisty lawyer. I will say that the first time we met, she kind of called me out on the bench, and I didn't like it, but I forgave her. Yeah. She protected these two little prosecutors that were not being nice to me, and whatever. I'll forgive you. But to see you step in this new role is truly inspiring. Even more, you've balanced it all with grace, being a wonderful daughter, a wonderful wife, a friend, and for Stasi and everybody else, go Canes, for being an incredible Cane fan, which obviously is my favorite thing. Other than she is an incredible mommy to Charlotte, and we all see her photos and everything you do we see, and we're very proud of you. Your dedication, your talent, and your heart are unmatched. I am so proud to call you a colleague, and I'm looking forward to everything that you do with all of us going forward. Felicidades. And Judge Fajardo is going to speak as well.
Christine and Charlotte, I want you to listen, because girls need to support girls, and your mom is a girl's girl. In 2012, she gave me the honor of nominating me for the job that I have today, the greatest job in the world that she also has. And I then went to become the U.S. Attorney and had the opportunity to work with your mom day in and day out. And I was in awe from the first moment that I met you, and getting to work with you was such an honor and a privilege. So thank you for all the work that you did on behalf of Miami-Dade County and that you continue to do. And today, thank you for giving me the honor of swearing you in. I, like Stasi, kept hounding her, when are you gonna put in? When are you gonna put in? When she finally put in, I had to have a powwow with Stasi. I went up to Tallahassee and I said, we need to figure this out. So I'm so proud of you, so proud of your commitment to public service and to all the members of this community. And I'm so proud that you get to set this beautiful example for your daughter, Charlotte. Felicidades.
Put on your robe? You're going to after. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I already forgot.
Right hand up, the other one on the Bible.
Okay, we're going to split duties, so we're going to change. I state your name,
I, Christine Hernandez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government
and government
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am qualified to hold office
that I am qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state of Florida,
under the Constitution of the state of Florida,
and that
and that
I will well and faithfully perform
I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of Judge of the Circuit Court
the duties of Judge of the Circuit Court
of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida,
of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida,
on which I am about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Give me like 2 seconds. Okay, before I begin, I want to take a selfie. So I don't know if I'm going to get anybody, but I'm going to get this side first. That side. That's a first. That side. Everybody in? Okay, all right. All right, that'll take the edge off. Okay, all right, all right. All right. Thank you, Chief Judge Safey. I want to take a moment and just look around, and I am truly humbled and moved by all the love and support that's in this room. I mean, each of you, in some form or another, has been part of my personal and professional journey here in Miami, and you are all worthy of today just as much as I am, because you've all played a role in me being here today. I wish I could tell you all how thankful and grateful I am personally, and I wish you know the depths of my heart, how I feel. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but I figured today I would start with these words. First and foremost, I would like to thank God, who has blessed me throughout my life and who has protected me and has been a great source of strength and faith for my family. To Governor Ron DeSantis, his general counsels, Ryan Newman, Meredith Pardo, Jed Doty, his staff, Stasi, and members of the 11th Judicial Nominating Commission, Bob Pardo, Pedro Allende, Judge Kansas Gooding, Jordan Richardson, Robert Hernandez, Jesus Suarez, Scott Diamond, and Hayden O'Byrne. Thank you. Thank you so much for vetting my application. Thank you so much for granting me an interview. Thank you so much for deeming me worthy of a nomination to the governor and ultimately to my appointment. I know firsthand how much work and effort and energy you all put in selecting good candidates to be nominated, and I am beyond grateful that you chose me as part of the 6 that were nominated to the governor. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. To my colleagues, thank you all for being here today. Thank you for being so welcoming and supportive. I feel like I know all of you because you one time or another you came through the JNC, or I've peered before you, or I've practiced against you, or I've practiced with you. So I am grateful to be able to serve in this capacity alongside all of you. Andrea Wolfson, Judge Wolfson from the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, she was my division chief, to now she's our administrative judge in the criminal division. Thank you for being so supportive, but most of all, thank you for being my friend. It's pretty great to be able to run to her and ask probably very dumb questions, and she's always there to help me and back me up, so I appreciate that. To my friends on the bench that I love to consider them as my appellate panel, Christy, Rita, Christina, Gina, Yara, Lodi, Laura, George. I appreciate you all so much. I took the bench 6 months ago. I went to Judicial College. I want to give a shout out to the Perico Ripiao crew. You know who you are. You know who you are. I worked the way into the speech. And when I went to Judicial College, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how I was going to be received. I didn't know how everyone was going to be. And I appreciate that you were all, you're my friends. And you're great jurists, you're great people. And I appreciate all the support that you've given me. To Monica, Judge Gordo, thank you so much for always being so supportive and being a great source for us here in our circuit. I appreciate everything that you have done. Jason, I didn't mention Jason. Did I mention Jason in our? Okay, I haven't mentioned Jason. Jason and I served together at the U.S. Attorney's Office. We actually applied for the same position, and I told him, I was very fortunate to have gone through the process with him, and I'm so grateful that you and I have been able to be on this journey together. We were trial partners at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and he knows about Christine in the trial room, in the courtroom, so I apologize for anything I may have said during the course of trial. I am grateful to all of you to be able to serve alongside all of you. Father Manny, thank you so much for being here today. Your leadership of the parish of the Church of the Little Flower, as well as the St. Teresa Catholic School, is amazing. Your commitment to the children there and to the parish is something that gives us great strength and great peace, because we know our school and our parish is in great hands. And I appreciate you being here today. Stasi and Gina, thank you so much for your words. Stasi, you were a very eager prosecutor. He did hang out outside of division chiefs' offices and said he was ready to try a death penalty case and hadn't even tried a DUI, but I appreciated that energy and that effort. And once you got past his humility, he's a wonderful person. He's a great husband. He's a great father. He's a great friend. He is someone that I'm proud to call a friend, and I'm so proud of everything that you have done. I'm proud more so of the father that you are to your daughters that all look like you. Like your clone. And thank you for your words here today. I've told you this in the past. I appreciate you and Rachel and your family so much. Gina, I love you, my friend. Again, 22 years. Your commitment to, the Canes and to the circuit is amazing, and I appreciate that, our friendship started in such a very unique way and has continued for the last 22 years. I was also on the Judicial Nominating Commission when you got appointed, and I'm just so glad that I'm able to serve alongside you. And, I know we have each other's backs, so I love you. To Judge Soto, Bertie, and to Ariana, thank you for swearing me in today. You both have been great influences on me. You may not know it, but as young prosecutors, the judges that we appear before affect us and stay with us. And their encouragement and their support is something that I wish I could put it into words. It is something that you all were always so supportive of our division, and you were always so respectful, and so you were great influences, and I got to know you past being a judge and being just the great people that you are, and so I am beyond humbled that you were able to swear me in today, so thank you. To my staff, Jackie and Haley, and everyone from Division 9, Cam, Smith, Miss Philo, Sanchez, you all, I didn't know what to expect when I took the division, and you all have been beyond a pleasure to work with. You're my court family. We laugh, we support each other, and I'm just beyond grateful that you're here today and you're supporting me, and I'm moved by your presence here today. So how did I get here? Now, despite the Lord's references, many are shocked to learn that I'm originally born and raised from New Jersey. I came to the University of Miami School of Law, go Canes, hopefully they're 10-0 tomorrow, in 2002. And it was during that time that I had the great fortune of doing an internship at the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office. It was that internship that truly changed the course of my life. And I want to thank you, Ms. Rundle. I want to thank the Chief Assistant, specifically Jose Arojo, who's here. Jose. I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to work in your office, coming right out of law school. Not only giving me that opportunity, but entrusting me with the most serious of cases that the office had to handle. You entrusted me with supervising a division and entrusted me in supervising other assistant state attorneys. And I truly learned everything that made me a good prosecutor at that office. You always stressed, and Jose always stressed, to do the right thing, no matter where that takes you. And you always had our back when we did it. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. I am moved that you're here today, and I'm just grateful to you and Jose, Thank you for every time coming into your office and asking for waivers. You know, your first question would always be, what do you think is the right thing to do? Instead of, this is what we have to do, it was, what do you think is the right thing to do? And I think that you helped me become the lawyer that I was, and I appreciate you. So I don't know where you're seated, but thank you. Okay. Okay. It was during that time at the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office that you really, and I think former prosecutors and former public defenders can attest to, you really create relationships there that stay with you throughout the course of your life. To the 40-some-odd lawyers that would always stand outside of Judge Thomas's courtroom waiting to see if I needed a trial partner, thank you. Which I did every day. To my opposing counsel that I had, I mean, Judge Gonzalez was my opposing counsel there. Bonnie Riley, Bonnie, you're my dear friend, and our experiences in court, you know, we did our jobs and we all did it well, but we all were friends. And I hope that that continues in our criminal justice system, that we all understand and respect the roles that we each have, knowing that when it's over, and we can just be friends and talk about things that, you know, normal people talk about. So, so I want to thank all my former trial partners at the State Attorney's Office, Mari Jimenez, Annette, Joanna, I'm going to give you a shout out, Joe Mansfield, Stasi, Annette Rasco, Elena Smuckler. Those were my fondest memories, trying cases with you all. Anyone that's tried cases knows that you really get to know people during those times. And we all became lifelong friends because of our experiences together, no matter what the outcome was. You know, Stasi, I mean, sounds like you lost a lot. I mean, I lost once with him. But despite that, he did it. He's a great lawyer. He's a great lawyer. Despite that, those experiences stay with you and really mold who you are as a person. And so I thank you. My fondest memories were at the State Attorney's Office. And in 2018, when I applied to the U.S. Attorney's Office and I was granted a position there, it was very difficult to leave because of the people that I was leaving behind. So I thank you, Ms. Rundle, for leading that office when I was there the way it was led. To my U.S. Attorney's Office family, from Ben Greenberg, who hired me, to the U.S. attorneys that I served under, from Ariana to Tony Gonzalez, who's in the back, my fellow HIDA colleague, to Mark LaPointe. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to stand up in court and to represent the United States. That was a privilege and an honor as a first-generation Cuban American whose family came to this country not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, and for their daughter, their granddaughter to represent the United States of America is a true honor and privilege that I never took lightly. To my friends at the U.S. Attorney's Office, Giselle Valdez, Lindsay Friedman, Elena Smuckler, Jason Redding, Kevin Gerard, Dan Marcette, Judge Elfenbein, Millie, Carrie, Wanda, Andrea, Monique, Sherrod. Thank you for welcoming me into that office. I mean, with all due respect, Judge Bloom and Judge Smith, federal court is a scary place. My colleagues there, you know, welcomed me into that office, showed me the ropes, and it was an amazing 6 years that I had the privilege to work there. To the federal judges I practiced before, Judge Smith, thank you so much for being here today. You also came through our judicial nominating commissions, and now you're a federal district court judge, so it is truly an honor that you're here today. Judge Bloom, you swore us in 2005 as assistant state attorneys. You swore us into the Florida bar, and you were the last judge that I tried a case before this past February before I got the appointment. I don't know if you noticed it at the time, but I had my cell phone on the table because it was the week that Tallahassee was supposed to be calling. And I remember telling our Secret Service case agent, if the number says 850, you pick it up and act like you're me. Okay. Because I cannot miss that call. But it was only fitting that you were the first judge that swore me in. You were the last judge that I tried a case before, and it's truly an honor that you're witnessing this here today, my own judicial investiture. I want to tell you that my mom was at that swearing in back in 2005, and she still remembers the words that you told us all about being young prosecutors, being young professionals, being young lawyers, about the great power that we had, and that it was important to just not look at cases, for the papers that were within them, but for the people that were going to be affected, the law enforcement, the victims, the defendants, the attorneys, that we had such great power, and we needed to recognize how to use that power and to do it, with what the law provides, but to do it fairly. So that always stayed with me. That's always stayed with my mom. Again, the influence that judges and mentors have on young lawyers is something that should never be taken for granted, because they're watching. Kids are watching, young lawyers are watching, so thank you for that. Okay, all right. Finally, I want to thank my close family and friends. I want to thank the St. Teresa moms who are here. I mean, where are you guys? Give a shout out in the back. I want to thank my soccer mom friends, who I'm not that crazy, right? I mean, the way they made it seem what? I am so grateful that you are my village. I'm so grateful that Charlotte is growing up alongside your children, and that we get to create memories with our kids. And I'm just, thank you for all the support that you've given my family, because it really does take a village. To my bestest friends, who my wolf pack, some of them flew from New Jersey, Miriam, Vicky, Melissa, to our honorary Jersey and Joanna, thank you for all the support that you have given me. Thank you for all the memes you guys send me on a daily basis. Thank you for always believing that I could do this. I know Joanna, when I told her, that I was gonna do this, her first words were, finally, you are ready. So I appreciate that. Okay. To the Segovia family, I know you're scattered about. Thank you so much for welcoming me into your family and for all the support and love that you have given me. You all know that my family is in New Jersey, so you all have been like a source of strength, and I love you all. I want to give my nephew, Marquito Perez, a shout out. He's a Miami-Dade police officer, and yesterday he graduated from the Air Force Academy. So he couldn't be here, but he's doing great things for our community and for our country. To my family, to my sister Carrie, that's my sister Carrie, my twin brother, who also said he would respond to Judge Hernandez if they said it. Thank you guys for making me tough. I'm the youngest of them, and I know how both of you have my back, and you've always supported me, and I don't tell you often, but I love you both, and I appreciate you beyond. To my nieces, I love you all. They all came from Clemson, JMU, FSU, my nephews, New Jersey. They all came to be here with me, and I want you guys know that you could do anything you want. There are no limits to what life has for us, only the limits that we place on ourselves. So I want you to be confident, and I love you, and you guys make me proud every day, so I'm just glad that you guys are here. Okay, to my cousins Alex and Susan, Martha, Santi, Danai, Estenis, thank you for being here today. You also came from New Jersey, and so I'm grateful the sacrifice and time that you took to support me here today. I also want to mention people that are not here, my aunt and my grandparents, whose shoulders I truly stand on. My grandparents and my family came to the United States, again, as I mentioned, like many families here in South Florida, not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, not knowing what was going to happen to them. And despite that, they have created a beautiful life in this country, and we are indebted to this country for all the blessings that it has given to us. And so I know that they're here. I know that they're here with me. I know that they'll always be with me. And so I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge them. To my better half, Juan, thank you for your unconditional love and support. I thank God every day for our life, and I pray that he continues to bless us. Thank you for believing in me and for allowing me to practice this speech in front of you, even though I might have bored you. And thank you for pushing me to do this. And I love the way that you love me and Charlotte, and so I'm grateful for you. To Charlotte. Charlotte, you're my pride and joy. No matter what I do in this life, you are my greatest accomplishment. Thank you for letting mommy play oral arguments before my Tallahassee interview in the car, even though you wanted to listen to Taylor Swift. You make me proud every day. I want you to know that no matter how many times you tell me you love me, I will always love you the most. And I want you to take a look around and take this all in. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the little girl that you are. I'm proud of everything that you do and how you try to do your best. So thank you. Thank you for all your support. Okay. Finally, to the two people that I dedicate today to and all my achievements, and that's my parents, my mom and my dad. They truly sacrificed everything to give my brother, my sister, my cousins, my family a good life. And to this day, they continue to sacrifice and always support us. And no matter what any one of us wants to do, they think that we can do it. And, you want to be an astronaut? Sure, let's go. Oh, I'm 44, I can't be an astronaut. No, yeah, you can be an astronaut. And when I told my mom that I was putting in for judge, it was like a foregone conclusion. And I had to tell her, no, it's a process. You have to get interviewed. And she's like, no, you're going to get it. No, you're going to get it. So I'm grateful for you both and for your example and for everything that you've done for me and all the support that you've given us. No matter what our mistakes in life, you always love us unconditionally. And so today is for you. If I forgot to thank someone, I'm really sorry. So you're all getting a general thank you. In closing, I want to remind everyone of a quote that always stays with me, and that is that life is not measured by time. It's really measured by moments. And I am grateful that you all have been part of this moment here today, the proudest of my life. So thank you all, and God bless.
Well done. Well done. So I think you can tell by the remarks that she made, and as she started her speech, it took some of my remarks away, which is that I've had the pleasure of being a judge in the REG when a lot of these people were there, but when Christine started as a baby C lawyer in front of Judge Thomas. And if for those of you that don't know Judge Thomas, know that to please him would not have been easy, and he was a huge fan of Christine Hernandez. And I think when I look around this room, I see the makings of somebody who is going to be a great judge, because I remember too many times to count that when I saw a colleague or saw an opposing counsel, a defense lawyer, and they'd ask the question, oh, who's the prosecutor on this case? And the answer was, it's Christine Hernandez. You would just see a tremendous sigh of relief. So that's really the measure of someone who not only was a great lawyer, but who's gonna bring that sensibility to the court. And I think that, when you're a trial judge, we are rule followers. We like rules. We love it when it's a clear call. But more than that, the best of us come into that courtroom, and we want people who come into our courtrooms to feel that same sense of faith and pride in the justice system that we take with us every day. We want everyone who walks out of our courtrooms to feel the same way we feel about it. And sometimes that takes a little bit of extra work, and that takes a little bit of extra time, so that even when someone's walking out and it didn't go the way they wanted to, they still felt like they were seen and heard. That's what the best of us do, and I can tell you, and I think you can all tell, if you didn't already know already, that Christine is definitely going to be among the best of us. So with that, Judge Hernandez, welcome to the bench. And on behalf of all the judges and staff of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida, thank you so much for spending this time with us, and court is in recess. For those of you, if you'd like to greet the judge and her family, please come forward and go to your right, line up to the right, and she'll be able to greet you over there in a few minutes.